So our next reader is Burt. Rob didn't send me a bio, so I'm going to make this one up. Rob's a senior English major who does a little acting on the side. He used to be a theater major who did a little English on the side. I first met Rob when I was covering a story for the Daily Nebraskan. He was acting in the Haymarket Theater's rendition of, I think it was The Importance of Being Earnest? Was it? Okay. And I don't remember what character you played, and I didn't actually see the show, but I'm sure you were very good. Rob likes drinking straight whiskey, and the other day when we were drinking together, he made me feel like less of a man. And sometimes, behind your back, I immaturely laugh at the redundancy of your name. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Burt.
All right, thank you, Noah. That's why you don't roll your papers. I just hold it. This piece is called, individually it's called Stimulus Modality. It's all part of, but these are readings from a larger piece of mine called The Somatosensory Response to Tissue Influenced by Stimuli. She strikes with 2 fingers, my chest, my stomach. I think she should listen to see if I am hollow. She says, be still. I exhale. She says, not yet. I exhale again. She flips through the big book that the little nerve endings cover the spine and face of the book. It has words that I cannot pronounce and pictures I cannot understand. I look anyway. She flips and finds her reference finally. I notice a topless woman in her book. She has little gray tubes that run all over her skin. My mother looks at the book and places her hand on my sternum, and then slowly moves her fingers down, measuring, and comes to a spot slightly above my navel. She strikes with 2 fingers, and my glands make a thick, dull noise. She looks concerned a moment and consults her book. I roll onto my side and watch my grandfather reading the newspaper. She stands me up and shines a small pen light into my eye. I recoil and place my hands over my face. She says, baby, let me look. I open my eyes. Indirect or mediate percussion, the air-filled lung, termed resonance, the gastric air bubble, tightening. Ever expanding through your body are cells that act like blocks. They build and make up little people like you, like me. They talk to little receptors and nerves that run all through you like wire. They remember things, what is too hot, what is too cold, so that you never have to. Sometimes they don't talk. When you are sick, then your eyes don't contract the light. She shines the pen light into my eyes again. I go blind, and when she moves the light, a static green blotch obscures her face from me. She hands me the pen light and moves off to find a different book. I pull the large, nerve-ending coated book between my sprawled legs. I open it in the middle as my grandfather goes to get his coffee. I shine the pen light in small bursts of 3 over the glossy colored photos. A pink flesh tone moves into 3 shades of yellow before a dark red-purple-blue swallows everything into it. I trace the color transition several times with my light. My grandfather comes back into the room and stands over me. I point to the word beneath the picture. He says bedsore. My mother comes back with a different book. She sets the book down and places her hands on my neck, along the jawline, and slightly pushes. Small rows of bubbles, I imagine, are what I feel sliding under the flesh of her fingertips. She says open, and I open my mouth. Diminished vocal fermentus, blockage of the airways, sound screens of fluid air, thickened flora fusion, inflammation, consolidation of the tissue and lungs. Always flowing through your body are veins. See, they pulse. It is a thick blue-black cord that carries oxygen and blood. They take this blood and they give it to your bones, baby, bones and brain. They give it to the capillaries in the tissue. They fill you with life. Sometimes they get clogged when you are unhealthy. Then your skin grows cold and won't respond to stimuli. She places a wooden depressor on my tongue and shines the small pen light into my mouth. She notices something inside me. She thinks I have a sore throat. She says, are you coughing, baby? I shake my head. She wanders off again, this time toward her school bag. I try to lift it sometimes, but it has so many books in it. I open my mouth and my grandfather tosses a small piece of his donut at me. I catch it in one bite. She comes back with another book and slides the one with the big veins away from me. She lifts up my shirt and places her stethoscope to my chest. Acetites. Bulging flanks, tympany at the top. Wave. A fluid, shifting dullness. Deep inside your brains, baby, are these little receptors. Thermoreceptors perceive temperature. Mechanoreceptors perceive pressure, distortion. Through chemoreceptors, a signal is made, and the depolarization of these receptors create action potential. This is stimulus modality. She slides the disc around on my chest. My grandfather stands nearby with a cup of coffee and half a donut smoking. He watches her practice sometimes. She says, inhale, and I do, deeply filling my chest. A small, hardly audible whine comes from inside me. She pauses, consults her book. She gently takes my arm, and her fingers coil around me, cold and slender. She sits me up and says, again, baby. I do. The whine starts in my throat before rolling down inside me. She motions with her hand, and my grandfather takes his cigarette onto the porch. She says, baby, you wheeze. I shake my head. I tell her it is the voice that sings with me. Obstructs the transmission of vibration through the chest wall. First inspection. Second, auscultation. Third, palpitation and percussion.